All right. So in the last aphorism we saw, Narada said that if worshipped, loved, and adored in the way that he has prescribed, God manifests to the devotee and also gives the devotee direct experience. To me, it appears it was the end of Narada Bhakti Sutras. Still, there are 4 aphorisms to go. And next 2 aphorisms we shall see are nothing but recapitulation of previous ideas. The 2 next aphorisms are very much related to previous aphorisms. We shall see that. So as such, no new ideas are being presented now. It is just, we may say, he is wrapping up and recapitulating the main ideas. So we shall take up 2 aphorisms today, 81 and 82. All right. Tri sattasva bhaktireva gariyasi. Bhaktireva gariyasi. Let's recite it together. Tri sattasva bhaktireva gariyasi. Bhaktireva gariyasi. Syntax is pretty much simple. Just as they appear in Sanskrit, so also is in English. Tri sattasva means among the 3 truths, bhaktihi eva. Bhaktihi eva, these 2 become bhakti reva. Bhakti alone, gariyasi, is the highest truth. And it is repeated, bhakti reva gariyasi. Among the 3 truths, bhakti alone is the highest truth. Bhakti alone is the highest truth. Now this word, Trisattva, it literally means 3 truths. And Narada does not explain what the 3 truths are. That leaves us into a deep trouble. It could mean many things. So accordingly, as I understand it, this aphorism can be explained in 3 different ways, or interpreted in 3 different ways. Meaning, what these 3 truths mean. These 3 truths mean. Okay. And all the 3 interpretations are based on what Narada has told us so far. So we have to go back in each of the interpretation. So Bhakti Reva Gariyasi, Bhakti Reva Gariyasi, this repetition is to emphasize. We know that in sutra, in aphorism, repetition is done in 2 cases. One is when one chapter is ending, one section is ending, then they end with repetition. And another time is when they want to emphasize something. Here it is to emphasize. So the word is tri sattvasa. Tri means 3, sattva means truth. Okay. So one, a very easy interpretation could be in Indian languages like Bengali, when to emphasize something, we say the word Satti 3 times. Satti, Satti, Satti means true, true, true. Okay. So it is kind of vouchsafing. I vouchsafe for a fact. This could be one meaning. So in that sense, that Narada is in that sense that Tri Sattva means to vouchsafe, saying the word truth 3 times. If we take it in this sense, this aphorism means that Narada is a firm conviction that Bhakti alone is the greatest. Bhakti alone is the greatest. This is Narada's firm conviction. And we have seen earlier, Narada has said the same thing at different places. One way of looking at it is going to aphorism 58, where Narada said that annasmat saulabhyam bhakto. That is, bhakti is easier than other paths. Bhakti is easier than other paths. And that's why bhakti is probably the greatest. If you remember, we saw at that time that bhakti is easier because, one, it appeals to our innate feeling or power called love. The emotion, strong emotion called love, it appeals to. Number two, it does not ask us to reject the reality of the world, which the path of Jnana Yoga asks us. In the path of Jnana Yoga, first we are asked to reject the absolute reality of the world. So it is, and so it does not ask us for a radical shift of our outlook, radical change or shift of our worldview. Bhakti does not say that to us. And we have, human beings, a natural inclination to relate to the higher reality in terms of human emotions. So it has been found that anthropologists and sociologists, psychologists all have found that human beings, as it were, are hardwired to connect to a higher reality, that has been into our system through thousands of years of evolution. So bhakti appeals, resonates with that sense, that natural inclination of human being to connect to a higher reality in terms of human emotions. Then bhakti is a gradual path leading to intimacy with God. And its effect, as soon as we try to cultivate bhakti, we start cultivating bhakti, pursue bhakti, we readily feel the effect of bhakti in our own life in terms of peace or happiness, a joy that we find through our bhakti practices. It is immediately felt. So this is very encouraging that we are trying something and we feel its effect immediately. That encourages us to keep on the track, keep going. So in that sense, bhakti is easier. That was said in aphorism 58. So in that sense, we may say, Narada, this is the first interpretation. Bhakti is best. This is Narada's firm conviction. That's why he is vouchsafing the fact with three sattva, that is saying it true, true, true. Okay, 3 times. Second interpretation is when we take these 2 words together, tri sattvasva bhakti. So bhakti to 3 sattva, that is bhakti to God who exists in all the 3 times, past, present, and future. God is tri sattva. God exists in all the time, past, present, and future. As we saw in aphorism 3, bhakti was defined as amrita sarupa, that is, bhakti is of the nature of immortality. That is, this bhakti is of an eternal relationship between the devotee and God. This relationship between the devotee and God is undying, unchanging, and everlasting. Unlike ordinary love, which has ebb and flow, bhakti, when it dawns in our heart, the real bhakti, there is no end to it. And remember, once Narada also said, ever increasing. It goes on increasing. That is, there is always a freshness in this love. In that sense, it is immortal. And this divine love is not limited by time and circumstances. It is independent of extraneous circumstances. And God exists in all times, and we, as part of the divine, are also existing in all time. So this love to God makes us immortal. The love, nature of this love is immortal. And sometimes we feel, when we are very deeply absorbed in meditation, especially if we are doing a meditation with the mood of a bhakta, and we are very much absorbed in our chosen ideal, we feel that this relationship is eternal. There was no beginning and end to this relationship. In this sense, this aphorism means that devotion to God, who is eternal, who is tri sattva, that is, who exists in all the 3 phases of time. So devotion to God alone is the best. Okay. Then third interpretation is tri sattvasya, among the 3 paths, that is, among the 3 yogas. Among the 3 yogas. Go to aphorism 25. Satu karma jnano yogebhyo pi adhikatara. Para bhakti is superior to karma yoga, jnana yoga, and raja yoga. So among the 3 paths here means, than the other 3 paths. It is superior than the other 3 paths. And we remember that, that just I am giving a brief summary of why Narada says that bhakti is superior to other 3 yogas. Because in other 3 yogas, the goal and the path differ in degree. For example, in Jnana Yoga, the path is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Inquiry is the path, and goal is what? Sarva Atma Bhava, that is, feeling oneness with everybody. So the goal and the path differ. In Raja Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga or meditation is the practice, but the result is to get established in one's true nature. So they differ in kind. But in Bhakti Yoga, the path is also Bhakti, love, and the goal is also having supreme love, that Para-Bhakti. Para-Bhakti is the path, Para-Bhakti, a spontaneous life, love is the goal. So they differ only in degree, not in kind. In that sense, this Bhakti Yoga is superior to other paths. And other one is, it is obvious, we are reading a Bhakti text, and Narada will be natural for him to establish his superiority. And we also noted that it is good to believe that my practice, that is, if a bhakta is practicing bhakti, it is good to have the belief that my practice is the best. But it is best for me, and someone else's path might be best for them. So in that sense, bhakti is best for a bhakta. Bhakti is best for a bhakta. And reason 3, worldview differs from teacher to teacher. In Narada's worldview, Para-Bhakti is the best. In other teachers' worldview, for example, Acharya Shankara's worldview, Jnana would be best. So in this sense, the present aphorism means bhakti is superior to other paths. That is Jnana, Karma, and Raja Yogas. So we get 3 interpretations of the aphorism. One is, Narada is a firm conviction that bhakti is the best path, because success in bhakti is easier than the other paths. Number 2 interpretation, love for God is eternal. It transcends past, present, and future. So devotion to such a God who transcends time is the best. Devotion to God who is transcendent, who transcends past, present, and future is the best. And third interpretation is, bhakti is superior to Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Raja Yoga, because we saw the reasons that here the path and the goal differ not in kind but in degrees. So that is aphorism 81. Satu 58, I think. Satu Karma Jnana Yoga, 25. Aphorism 25. All right. Next aphorism. Any question about this aphorism? Yes.
Yes, Maharaj, you said that the third one, love for God is eternal. It was there in past, present, and future. Eternally it is there. And another point was also that it relates the human emotions to the higher reality. So that connector, what you said, that's also there in the third point only.
No, it is in the first one. Why bhakti is easier than other paths. Okay, so we wanted to show 3 interpretations of this aphorism. One was Narada's firm conviction. Number 1, Narada's firm conviction, it is better than the other, it is best. Why? We took the aphorism 58 to show that where Narada said it is easier. Okay, easier why? Several reasons, but it is natural for human beings to connect to the higher reality through emotions. Okay, so that comes in the first interpretation.
And Swamiji, when you said the 3 yogas, you said karma, jnana, and bhakti.
Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga.
So,
okay. It is so three sattas so here means bhakti is greater than the 3 other yogas. Okay. You can we can take it in this sense also. Three sattas means among the 3 yogas. Okay. So because karma yoga is sometimes not counted separately as a yoga. Okay. It comes under bhakti yoga, and it comes also as a preparation for jnana yoga. Okay. So among the 3 yogas, if you want to take, among jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, and dhyana yoga or raja yoga, bhakti is best. Yes, any other question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Are we to take it that Narada really wants us to get it, that he's repeating this so beautifully and so succinctly and making all of the major points once again?
Indeed, this is Narada's, earnest desire that those who are reading this text takes up the path of bhakti.
Is it a little unusual, or do we find that in other texts?
Of course, in Aphorisms also we found at the end, Shankara was saying, this is the path. There is no other path. That is the beauty. Whichever path we take, we shall find they will say, this is the best path. And this is quite natural. This is quite natural. And that we explained in great detail why it is so. Okay. Just now, as we said, it is quite natural for Narada to say, Bhakti is the best path. Okay. It is a worldview. It's a worldview. Now, what we shall do? What we shall do? What appeals to us most? And secondly, that is, as I say, that was the great contribution of Sri Ramakrishna, that he showed us how to integrate all these things in our life. They need not be seen opposing to each other. All of this can be integrated to our life. In a sense, one will be the dominant note, okay, but other yogas we can all incorporate to make the dominant note, dominant yoga, the more powerful, right? All right, so can we proceed to the next one? All right. Next one is a very lengthy aphorism. Longest so far. Okay, so I am not going for word by word translation. You will easily understand the word by word understanding. It says, Guna Mahatma Asakti, Rupa Asakti, Puja Asakti, Smarana Asakti, Dashva Asakti, Sakhya Asakti, Vatsalyo Asakti, Kanta Asakti, Atma Nivedana Asakti, Tanmayata Asakti, Parama Birha Asakti, Rupa Ekadha api Ekadashadha bhavati. So Ekadha api Ekadashadha bhavati. It means bhakti, even though only one, it manifests as 11 different forms. Now, all the 11 forms that are mentioned below correspond to all the Sanskrit words that come one after the another. Okay. First is Guno Mahatma Asakti, attachment to praising the divine qualities. We shall see what does it mean. Then Rupa Asakti, attachment to divine forms. Puja Asakti, attachment to worship. Then Smarana Asakti, attachment to remembrance. Dasya Asakti, attachment to master-servant relationship. Sakhya Asakti, attachment to friendship with God. Vatsalya Asakti, attachment to parent-child relationship. Kanta Asakti, attachment to the relationship between spouses. Atma Nivedana Asakti, attachment to surrendering one's whole being. Tanmayata Asakti, attachment to becoming one with God. And finally, Parama Viraha Asakti, attachment to feeling separation. Attachment to the feeling of separation. We shall see, these are very loaded concepts. All right. So, ekadha api ekadashadha bhavati. So here, Narada gives 11 forms of bhakti, how bhakti can manifest. But this number 11 is not exhaustive. Let us remember that. It is not exhaustive. They are just examples. There could be many more forms of bhakti. Potentially, there can be infinite choices of how one loves to connect with God. What kind of relationship one wants to have with God. So everyone can have their unique way of doing bhakti. As an example, which has not been mentioned here, someone can have intense love for nature and recognize the incredible beauty of natural landscapes, ocean, waterfalls, forest, and they might revel in nature as they see the presence of God in all that is magnificence in nature. That is also a type of bhakti. Narada does not mention it here. So there are many other types of bhakti. So in this aphorism, Narada gives examples of different relationships one can have. And these are human relationships. Relationships which we are familiar with. Having that kind of relationships one can have with one's Ishtadevata, chosen form of God. Narada gives only those some 11 examples. Okay, so even one can have any other relationship other than that. Okay, so the word, we have seen this word asakti. Asakti has been repeated here again and again. So each form of bhakti is described as an asakti. Asakti means attachment. Okay, attachment. So it generally means attachment. Here, what it means, it is deep love for being engaged in that kind of relationship, or a sense of passionate commitment for each of the following 11 forms. A strong liking for doing something. Okay. How? So today we shall see, I don't want to overwhelm. Today we shall see three attachment, three kind of attachments. 11 have been mentioned. We will see only 3 types of attachment. Okay. Starting from the beginning. One is Guno Mahatma Asakti. That is attachment to praising the divine qualities. Attachment to praising the divine qualities. But now the question is, which aphorism does this resembles to? We had long discussion about this. Attachment to praise divine qualities. Can you recall?
It was among the first, I know that. It was one of the first listings.
There's one section, Bhakti Sadhana, the second section, I forgot the name. Rasa Sadhanani Gayanti Acharyaha. Okay, Kathadishu iti Gargaha. 17, aphorism 17, Kathadishu iti Gargaha. So there, Narada was trying to show what form, manifestation of bhakti can be. Then he mentions some of the previous teachers, what they think bhakti is. Then he mentioned about Gargo. Gargo was a sage who thought that Kathadishu Anuraga, that is love. There the word was not asakti, anuraga, a deep love for the katha. What is katha? Katha is divine pastime, lila. Okay, so reading those divine pastime, praising them, singing them, chanting them, then contemplating them, then discussing among them, that is called Guna Mahatma Asakti. Okay, so devotees, those who have this kind of love, bhakti, they want to discuss the pastime of the God's pastime. That is, what is that? We saw that, pastime means the human activities of the divine incarnation. For example, Krishna Bhakti. Okay, divine, the simple human activities. Then there are superhuman activities. There are mystical activities. Even the pranks and jokes that they did. So devotees revel in those type of discussion and reading. And each of these are perceived by the devotee as divine quality. Okay, divine quality. So an attachment to those kind of activities. So singing, chanting the glories of God, discussing those glories with others, dancing in the name of praise of God, enjoying the divine pastime, lila. And in fact, we noted before, according to Bhagavatam, which is, would say, a very authentic book on Bhakti. So according to Krishna Bhaktas, love for reading Bhagavatam is the chief form of Bhakti. Okay, so love for discussing, reading, contemplating the activities that Krishna did as a lila, as a divine play, that constitute the crux of Bhakti. Okay, so kathadishu anuraga. So a strong liking for engaging in such activities could be one form of Bhakti. And examples, examples we see, Narada. Narada himself is an example, the Narada, mythological Narada. He goes on everywhere chanting the praise of God. Even Bhagavatam, if we remember the story of Bhagavatam, Vyasa composed Bhagavatam. Vyasa composed many literature. He classified the Vedas, he wrote Brahma Sutras and so many literature, and he was an Gyani, he was a realized soul. But even with all those things, he was not happy. He was not happy. And so he met Narada and said, why I am not happy, why I am not content, why I have had knowledge and I have done so much work in scripture, scholarly work, still why I am not getting contentment. Then Narada said, because you did not praise the name of the God enough. Glories of God you have not preached enough. So that you need to, the story goes like that. Then he composed Bhagavatam to become content. Okay. And even Narada is one who instructed Valmiki, Valmiki to compose Ramayana. The Ramayana is what? Is Lila, is divine qualities of Rama. Yes, many ways of, exactly. This sutra is also saying many ways of, getting intimate with God. Okay. So this manifests, this kind of asakti, love, naturally manifest in devotees. So one can also practice this. This is the point. Okay. Then we also remember, Mahendranath Gupta, Master Mahashai, M, who composed, who wrote the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He's, many people later on got inspired by him. Many, for example, Paramahamsa Yogananda was very much inspired by Mahendranath Gupta. And what he used to do, whosoever used to go to him, actually many young people used to go to him, and many young people became monk by coming in contact with him. He was a monk maker, he was a monk maker. So what he used to do is he used to say, his philosophy was simple. He said, I have a pitcher of water, and that water is all about Sri Ramakrishna. Whatever Sri Ramakrishna said, whatever Sri Ramakrishna used to do, I just share with them. I don't share any of my own view. Okay. So any question, I would answer it. Sri Ramakrishna used to say like this. Sri Ramakrishna used to do like this. Okay. So he was an example of Guno Mahatma Asakti. Okay. Guno Mahatma Asakti. So divine qualities and attachment to praising those divine qualities. Mahatma means praise, or glories. Guna means qualities. Okay. So glories are divine qualities. And if someone has that kind of attachment, deep love, one who relish in discussing the divine qualities. That is called Guna Mahatma Asakti. That is one form of bhakti that Narada mentions as number 1. Number 2 is Rupa Asakti. Rupa Asakti, that is attachment to Rupa. Rupa means divine forms. That is extreme liking for the physical form of a deity. That is the image or picture of the deity. So, keep on looking at it, decorating it in different ways, decorating it with different costumes. This can be also very much seen in devotees. They have got attached to the very image or picture of the deity they are worshipping. Okay. Of course, this image is an image. It represents that Satchidananda, that consciousness, but they have started liking the form also very much. Okay. To them, this particular small image has become a center of attraction. Center of attraction. So they very often keep looking at the image or picture and enjoys it, looking at it. Okay. So a strong liking for engaging in such activities. This is called Rupa Asakti. It is seen in different temples in India. Okay. That the deity is decorated in different ways throughout the day. Throughout the day. If you go to Vrindavan, in most of the temples, you will see that several times the costumes of the deity are changed. And the devotees, so they are sitting in the temple from morning to evening, or even more, trying to see the same image, how it is decorated in different ways. It is not just a fun that, it's a fun, let's have a fun or different kind of image. No, some of them are really very much attached to the beauty of the image. Beauty of the image. So any physical beauty, as we are appreciate physical beauty, here that takes the form of appreciating the beauty of the image or beauty of the picture. Okay, that is also a types of bhakti. That is what Narada is telling us. Rupa Asakti. Third is Puja Asakti, attachment to worship. Okay, so now you can easily find out which aphorism it corresponds to. Attachment to worship. Search around. So it was 17 which says attachment to Katha. It was 16. Pujadishu anuragaha iti parasharya. According to Parashara, that is according to Vyasa, what is bhakti? Bhakti is love for doing puja. Okay, and we had a lengthy discussion, a whole class on puja. So just doing very briefly, puja could be ritualistic like homa, fire ceremony, or ritualistic worship, arati, non-ritualistic like a mental worship, manasa puja, or worship of the, Virat, the entire creation, all this. And common to all of this puja is what? A sense of reverence and offering. A sense of reverence and offering. If that is there, it is puja. Sense of reverence and offering. So puja, if somebody loves to engage in this kind of activities, which has a sense of reverence and offering, that is called puja asakti. And if somebody loves it, that person is a bhakta of puja sakta bhakta. They have love, attachment for puja asakti. And puja is if you remember, I mentioned, is a wonderful practice where dualism and non-dualism merge. Many people think, puja is only a crude form of devotion. It is not for the advanced ones, and it is just rituals. But if we could do it, understanding the meaning, underlying meaning of the rituals, it is a wonderful experience. As I told my own experience, at first, when I did not know the rituals, I thought it's just rituals doing something for the sake of doing. Once we understood the significance and meaning, it turned out to be very important and very likable activity. That's why I see that great teachers of realization kept themselves engaged in puja even after realization. Acharya Shankara formalized puja. Everywhere we see puja now, Hindu way of puja, it was formalized by Acharya Shankara. What should be the form of the puja? Because there are so many varieties of puja, that Pancha Puja, that is part of the every puja. That puja of Ganesha, puja of Guru, puja of Shiva, puja of Narayana, and puja of Kaushiki, Durga. These 5 pujas, and puja of sun, Surya. Why? Where did they come from? Shankaracharya did this. Shankaracharya saw that there are many various sects. Some are sun worshippers, some are Ganesha worshippers, some are mother worshippers, some are Shankara worshippers. So what can be done? Then he came up with the plan that in every puja, these 5 pujas should be at the very beginning. Okay, that was a great way of unifying different puja styles. Who did it? Acharya Shankara. Not only that, he initiated puja in all the 4 centers he established, 4 matha, okay, which are the center of practice of Jnana Yoga, Advaita Vedanta, but they are very much into ritualistic worship. Okay, so also Ramanuja, so also Sri Ramakrishna, even Swami Vivekananda, who was such a Jnana Yogi, we see that just before passing away, what he did an elaborate worship in the shrine and closing all the doors and windows. He did a very elaborate worship just before passing away. Okay, so if somebody thinks puja is not for advanced ones, it is far from the truth. Far from the truth. Okay, if we don't understand, then only we can say things like that. One of the great Swamis in America, who is very scholarly Swami, I am not saying his name, very scholarly Swami, and one of the most scholarly and Advaita Vedanti Swamis. When he came here, that center did not have daily worship. He said, I won't stay here if I not allowed to do daily worship. So he started doing it, and morning he does it every day. Okay, every day. He said, I can't stay without doing worship. I have to do worship daily. So as I said, I have also seen, great scholars of Advaita Vedanta and practitioners are also great worshipper. So that is puja asakti. Love and very sincere love for engaging in this kind of activities. That could be another form of devotion. Bhakti can express as love for worship. Okay, so we leave it here today. 3 types of asakti. We shall see the other ones the next day. Okay. Do you have questions? Okay, let me see. Is there attachment to the form of consciousness, formlessness? Exactly, it is not there, but towards the end comes a asakti called tanmayata asakti, the attachment for being one with God. Okay, that comes close to attachment to the formlessness. Okay, which text of Acharya Shankara discusses the 5 pujas you mentioned? I don't recall now, okay, which text, but it is a known fact. What are the 5 pujas before any worship? Guru, Ganesha, Shiva, Narayana, Durga, Kaushiki Durga, and Surya. It becomes 6 because Guru is not considered a deity as such. Okay, but it comes under Panchadevata Puja. All right, any other question? Because I have an assignment for you. Before that, if you have any question. Okay, so what today was, by the way, today was our 50th class, 50th. Okay, so most of you have spent 50 classes, that is at least 50 hours in reading Narada Bhakti Sutras. And I don't like to let this opportunity go without reflecting on what you have learned from Narada Bhakti Sutras. Okay, so here is an assignment for you to reflect upon one of these 5 questions. Okay, I share the questions with you so that if you want to jot it down. In the text, ideas that have stuck with you. We have discussed many ideas that have stuck with you. Or ideas that have enriched your spiritual life or understanding of spiritual life. Or ideas that have resonated with you. You like so much. You thought that, yes, it is for me. Ideas that are found practical. Or ideas you have questions about, or ideas you want to challenge. You can even challenge an idea, okay, that has appeared in this text. This is for you to reflect, and it will be very good if you share with us under 5 minutes. It is totally voluntary, and nobody is going to give you marks or judgment, anything, but sharing why it is important, because the same aphorism, we can find different light from different people. Okay, some of you may shed a light on an aphorism that may be simply wow for us. We did not even think that way. Okay, then there are some things, for example, ideas that you have found practical. So from that, we can others also learn. All of us can learn how that idea became practical to you. Okay, so I think it will give a multi-dimensional perspective to what we have learned, and it is under 5 minutes, so you can just jot down the points and just share with us. Okay, you don't have to give a talk or speech, or okay. And suppose you have some unresolved questions, that also you can raise here, and we would like to hear. You will find that now we are in a position that any question raised amongst you will be answered by one amongst you. Okay, one amongst you can answer the question that has been raised. Okay, So it is an opportunity for learning from each other. Secondly, when we reflect and share with others, it makes our own concepts clear to us. Okay, clear to us. When it comes to sharing with others, we become more precise and become more thoughtful about our ideas, and we can organize our ideas better. So that is an assignment. Next day, after we finish completing this aphorism, I think we shall still have some time left. Then we can start. Whosoever volunteers to share, we are welcome. Then we shall see how long it takes. Maybe one class, maybe two class, or even less than that. Not a problem. Okay. There's two questions. Can you display those 5 attachments again? 5 attachments or 5 questions? 5 ideas. Okay, here are the 5 ideas. I can send by email too. Ideas that have stuck with you, ideas that have enriched your spiritual life, ideas that have resonated with you, ideas you have found practical, ideas you have questions about, ideas you would like to challenge. Okay, and someone asked, can you show me the cover of the book? Narada Bhakti Sutras by Swami Ishadhyanananda ji. That was our reference book, but frankly speaking, we went far beyond this book. Hardly I refer to this book. Okay. But we always need a textbook. Okay. Yeah. All right. Very good. Shall do the guided meditation and think upon it and jot down points, even if you don't like to share. Okay, jot down the points if you like, it will be good. Okay, we shall do the guided meditation after a break of 1 minute. Yes, I will email the 5 questions. Okay, sure.